All right, everybody, let's get right into this one. We have a wood panel that we're going to be painting on today. It is an 8 by 5.5 inch panel, and it has been toned already with raw sienna acrylic paint. And I have let that dry for roughly 24 hours. So we're ready to start painting on top of it with oil paint. And I'm going to start off with the sketch using this burnt sienna oil paint. The brush that I'm going to be using to do the sketch and the block in is going to be this synthetic bristled filbert brush. You can see it's a number 6. It's going to work perfectly for what we're going to be doing. And I should probably mention that I have an entire folder, probably with 10 to 15 photos on it for my reference. I am putting them together in my head into my own unique composition, and each picture that I have in my folder kind of represents something in the painting somewhere that I want to capture. So I'm not looking at any one photo. I'm kind of combining a bunch into the composition that I am starting to lay down with this burnt sienna oil paint. You can see I'm staying very loose, and I'm really thinking about where I'm putting these marks, where everything's going to be situated, because I want to create a balanced composition here. Normally, I would suggest that you really plan this out before you start painting, but I just went ahead and plan this one out on the spot, which you'll be able to find out at the end of the painting did have a consequence. However, it was an easily fixed consequence. And here I'm showing you a few other things that I use in my painting. These are white shop towels that I use to clean my brushes off in between dipping into new paint. I also, in case you're wondering, do wear these gloves, these old gloves, and you can probably see why. If you look closely, they're pretty messy. It just keeps my hands clean. So yeah, now we're going to take a look at some of my color mixing. Here I'm adding titanium white to the palette and also lemon yellow. We're going to add that as well to the palette. So we have 3 colors there. We're going to add a 4th. This is yellow green. And I'm going to take some titanium white and mix in a little bit of this lemon yellow and also a little bit of that yellow green. So I get a very bright sunny green color, and you can see I'm just getting it to the right value by adding a little bit more titanium white. And then I think this is going to work, so we're going to take it over and put this up there in the background to create a sense of light. This is kind of going to be the light source in our painting. And now I'm adding Phthalo Blue to the palette as our 5th color. I'm going to take that, mix it into what we've already mixed on the side there, and add a little bit more of the yellow green to create a darker green. You can see I added just a touch of our sketch color, that burnt sienna, and I'm going to put it over on the left hand side in a choppy way to indicate some distant foliage. And if you'll notice, I'm keeping this green very cool with that blue in there, and I'm also keeping the value high, because what that's going to do is it's going to push that further back in the painting and create a better sense of depth. Now I'm going to be mixing another color here. So let's go back down to the palette and I will show you guys. I'm adding burnt umber to the palette, and I'm going to take some straight phthalo blue and mix in some of that new color we've added. And you'll notice as well that there's a little bit of the previous paint mixture still in the brush, which is also influencing this color. I'm going to add some of that yellow green to add some punch to the color, and then more of the blue and brown, a little bit more of the green. And I'm mixing until I get a color that I like. It's personal preference, but you can see what I've ended up with here is very simply a darker version, pretty much, of the green that I just mixed before for that background foliage. And what that's accomplishing for us in the painting is it's bringing this cliff in the middle ground forward from that little window of background that we just put in. And therefore, it's going to create a good sense of depth in the painting, because I'm already at this point anticipating our darkest values going into the foreground, where there's going to be a little bit more shadow and where the painting's going to come closer still. So I am adding this color on. The waterfall is going to go over the top of the edges of where I'm laying down some of this color. We're going to do that in a little bit, but now I have taken the same color that we just mixed, and I've added a little bit of burnt umber and phthalo blue into it to darken it up. And I think I have the brown, the burnt umber, in that mixture a little bit more dominant. And you can see I'm just very, very simply smudging in some of our rock shapes. And as I get closer, I am making this mixture even darker, and I'll show you how. I am taking pure phthalo blue and adding in pure burnt umber, which creates what's called a living black, because we could very simply use a color on our palette like ivory black or something like that and paint this in, but there's just a beautiful complexity to mixing your own black with these dark paint colors, and I prefer myself mostly to use these blacks instead of already pre-mixed black like ivory black. And here I'm adding in some simple greens. I'm going to take this titanium white, and now I'm going to mix the waterfall color. You can see I'm adding some of the phthalo blue into it. I don't want titanium white and blue to be the only two paints I'm mixing here, because then I think, you know, the waterfall color is going to look a little bit too flashy. So I'm going to take a little bit of the burnt sienna and add it in to gray out our color a little bit, but I'm still effectively creating a light, cool gray. And I'm going to drop this waterfall in again, very simply with this relatively big brush for the scale I'm painting, which helps keep the painting loose and keeps me from getting bogged down in details that I really shouldn't be painting yet. That will come later. You can see I am mixing this color up into the back cliff there to add a mist effect. And I'm gonna load up my brush with some more of that color that I use for the waterfall and bring the stream down. And then here I am taking a light green, which is very desaturated, and painting in the top of this mossy rock, which is going to be kind of a little bit sunlit here. And I get that color by mixing our already kind of pre-mixed green that we used in the back cliff and just adding in burnt sienna and titanium white into it. Here I'm adding another color to the palette. It's one of my favorites. It's called Viridian Hue, and I am using it in our stream color here. And I'm going to show you at the palette how I mix that color. So what we're going to want to do with our clean brush is take this titanium white, add Viridian Hue into it, and also phthalo blue, a tiny hint of that yellow green to add a little bit of vivacity and punch to our color. And we're going to bring this over, and I'm going to very loosely and very freely paint the movement into the water of this pond that our stream is filtering into. And this is my absolute favorite part of the painting. I love to paint water. I love to paint the way water moves in my own unique way. And so you can see I'm thinking about maybe where there's big rocks on the bottom of this pool that's causing the water up top to move in a unique way. So I'm adding in some ripples here and there as I'm imagining that the water is coursing over these rocks and through these rocks. I used to be very intimidated with painting water, but the better I get at it, the more I realize it's actually easier than I was making it seem in my head when I was afraid of it. Jump in there, try it out, and you'll get better at it. Okay, here we have a new painting session. So what I've already laid down for the block-in is relatively dry and won't mix as I add new colors on top of it. You can see I added some more mist in there, and for this color that I'm using to drop in some closer foliage into this middle ground cliff, I am mixing burnt umber, phthalo blue, and Viridian Hue to make a very dark green. And I'm lifting the value with titanium white, and I am adding in some lighter versions of that same color simply by adding more titanium white and also yellow green and maybe a little bit of lemon yellow to lighten it up and make it more vibrant. That will help our sense of light shining through that little window we have above the waterfall. And then I'm also going to have a spot down here on the right hand side where light is directly hitting some foliage. So I kind of took that same color and added in some light leaves down there, followed by some more of the dark ones. And now I'm focusing on creating a better sense of that light coming through, which means I'm going to need to darken up a few more areas here. And I am doing that by introducing a new brush to the painting, which is I think it's a number 2 synthetic bristled round brush. I'm going to be switching mainly to that now as I start to make smaller strokes that will add a little bit more detail. Now, because I am devoting this video to taking a deeper look at colors, I can't really do that without mentioning the way that I mix colors. I get a lot of comments of people wanting to know specifically how I'm mixing the colors that I mix, and hopefully by now you can kind of get a glimpse of the way I do that. But I have to say that a lot of my color mixing is very intuitive. I have these thoughts in my mind going on in the background as I mix colors, like, think about the value. How light and dark do you want this to be? Okay, I want it to be a little bit darker, so how do I get the paint a little bit darker? And then juggling the actual chroma at the same time. Like, do I want this to be more gray? Do I want this to be warmer or cooler? How am I gonna get it cooler if I want it, to be more cool? So that's primarily what I'm thinking about. And there are specific rules, if you will, that I follow as I'm mixing my colors. For example, things tend to be a little bit more green and vibrant closer up in the painting, in the foreground, whereas things start to gray out and get more towards the violet, cooler side further back. But that being said, I really want you to remember that you have a unique way of presenting color in your paintings that nobody else can really do but you. So instead of trying to copy me in my color mixing, remember that you can take the information that I'm presenting to you and make it your own. Don't be afraid to add those unique touches that nobody else does but you. That will really be a signature to your own color mixing in your own paintings. So I'm providing you with a look at how I do things, how I mix colors, so that you can take that information and learn from it, but also throw your own spin onto it. Take a load off your shoulders and don't try to mix exactly the same ratio of paint that I'm mixing in order to get exactly the color that I'm getting. Don't be so worried about doing that. Take the general information, like how these colors interact with each other, and do it the way that comes natural to you, and then perfect that way, because you will end up painting what you like, but sometimes it just takes a little while to figure out what that is, and you can experiment by seeing how other artists like me do things, and then thinking, well, what if I, did it this way? What if I added a little bit more green into it because I really like green? Or, maybe you really like your water to have more of a brown look to it. I don't know. Take your uniqueness and plug it into the information that I'm giving you. And I think then you'll be able to give yourself some creative space to work with your own unique way of painting, and then thus perfect your own style. All right, now we're going to come to one of my favorite parts of the painting, that is painting the final highlights. So I'm going to take pure titanium white and mix in pure lemon yellow into it. And I'm going to start to drop in these impasto leaves here. And impasto is a fancy way of saying plopping on paint that's actually physically standing up on the surface you're painting on. That way it will actually reflect natural light hitting the painting back to the viewer's eye, and it just creates a better sense of light. And so I'm strategically making these leaves impasto and making these highlights impasto because I want them to appear brighter to the viewer. And now I am taking some pure titanium white and touching up this water in select areas. And if you'll notice, the water actually has a lot more titanium white closer up towards the waterfall because that's where the direct sunlight is hitting. So I am making pure titanium white impasto marks on the water lower down in this stream cascade, but it's definitely overall a lower value for that water. And that just reflects the reality that there is less light hitting this area in the water further down in the foreground. But this is a really fun part of the painting. You get to shape the water, make little marks that will end up making all the difference in how the water looks, the way it's flowing, etc. So here I'm just adding in a few subtle marks that will make all the difference for the water. And lastly, I am going to take a little bit of a lighter green than what is already on these rocks in the foreground, and I'm going to add a slight highlight to the grass and the moss in the foreground, as well as lightening up that green and adding a little bit of the same thing further up where the light is brighter. Then I'm going to take pure titanium white and add a little bit of lemon yellow into it to warm it up, and do some dry brushing up here to add a little bit more sunlit mist onto the right hand side. And then I'm going to take that filbert brush I was using before to spread it out and smooth it out and soften it. And then we are going to make a compositional change to the painting. If you'll notice, these two principal rocks are actually roughly the same size. So I need to change that so it doesn't become a distraction and throw off our composition. And I thought about it and I decided to make this rock a little bit smaller. And I did that simply by painting in water around it and just kind of reshaping that rock. It was very easy. All in all, I think it took me maybe 5 minutes to complete. And just a few more marks here and there, and I'm going to call the painting finished. Let's go and take a look at the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, God bless you guys. We'll see you later.